Well done. But as I was saying, so it's important when I'm sort of thinking about the next song I'm going to write that I keep probably like you, I keep a sharp eye out and a sharp ear out for a title or something or someone who I find inspiring. And on my recent very nice holiday,
Yeah,
excuse me, on this incredible, beautiful cruise ship.
yeah,
In the mornings, we were having breakfast, very nice breakfast, I hasten to add, on a cruise ship, before going into places like Lisbon, um, beautiful place, Lisbon and Porto. Anyway, I
yeah,
won't go on about that. But every morning in the one of the big restaurants, they had beautiful music. I mean, in the sense of lovely songs like Bridge Over Troubled Waters, but played instrumentally,
yeah.
at a very perfect level of sound. So you're eating breakfast, and after a couple of days, we said, "Who is this incredible person singing?" Now, obviously, you've got waiters and waitresses and so on, and there was somebody, a woman,
Yeah.
sort of singing along with. I can remember so clearly some of those songs. For example, "Bridge Over Troubled Waters," which is a beautiful song, and I thought, "This is amazing." Anyway, we looked at each other and we thought, "Wow!" And long story short, the next day I established it was one of the waitresses. Um,
Oh,
I don't think she was Chinese, but from that part of the world.
yeah,
And so having heard her for 2 or 3 mornings and finding out who it was, when she delivered my cup of tea or cup of coffee,
yeah,
I said, "So it's you with the beautiful voice." And she looked at me, she put her hand on my arm.
yeah.
She said, "No." She said, "I'm just a bathroom singer." And that stuck with me. And I
Yeah,
said, "Well, bathroom singer or not, you have the most beautiful voice. And if I were a big noise in music,
yeah,
I would have signed her up because she was singing along, but the quality, the tone, the whole thing was perfection. It really
yeah,
was like an angel singing, as they
yeah.
say. So of course after that, I sort of smiled at her when I came in for breakfast, or when we both came in, and she just carried on doing it. It was breathtaking, and at the end of a cruise, it's not quite so much the done thing now, but you normally would leave your dinner waiters and your cabin steward a tip.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't normally do that for the breakfast people. It's just the etiquette. But anyway, I thought, well, I'm going to leave her a decent tip,
Oh,
because it sort of made my day repeatedly to
yeah,
hear this woman singing.
yeah.
So out of that, I thought, well, yeah, I'm going to do one song will be called "Bathroom Singer," which again is
Oh,
it's a bit of a strange
that's a
title,
good
but
title because
um,
everybody is a bathroom singer. I don't know if
sings in the bathroom.
shout,
Yeah,
they
just
say, you talk to somebody and they go, oh yeah, no, I just sing in the shower,
yeah,
yeah, I
that's what
sing in
they
the
say.
shower. So everybody, I think everybody sings in the shower. My dad was like a really good shower singer.
Singer, was he? The shower singer. Actually, it's another one.
And he's belting it
But
out every morning, you know.
but of
Uh,
course, always in a bathroom, you get good acoustics as well. Normally, you
yeah,
see
you do actually.
bounces around the bathroom, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's always good. So
yeah,
that's one title. And another one I thought was, I mean, one of my songs, you may remember it, called Bar Blues,
yeah. Bar blues,
which is
yeah,
based on, as you will know, 12 bar blues, which is a chord sequence in music. And bar
right.
blues I wrote as a 12 bar blues song. But also it's the double meaning of the word blues. I mean, we know what music blues is. It's very much originated in the American Deep South.
Yeah,
Excuse me. And it was, we talk about someone who has the blues, feeling a bit down, a bit fed up. And
yeah.
that's kind of the origin of that music. It was people in
Oh,
difficult, poor situations, and they started creating this incredible genre
yeah,
of music that they call blues. And so bar blues, because I sang in that song, and it was based on probably 2 or 3 gigs I did a few
yeah,
years ago. Um, basically where people really were sort of out of their minds, out of their brains on various things.
Yeah.
And I, 2 or 3 times I thought, what am I doing here? Because I didn't get abused, but sometimes I thought, well, no one's listening to me, or if there were two of us, they weren't listening, but actually
Yeah.
they were. So anyway, that song is all about that, and it's the 12-bar blues, but it's also, I tried to write it in a bluesy way,
Right.
and it
Yeah.
also talks about not actually wanting to be there necessarily. So, and anyway, I thought coming back from these two great holidays I've been lucky enough to have this year,
Yeah.
yeah, I did really. I mean, I only came back from the cruise last week, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday, Tuesday last week. And I think for 2 or 3 days, I would
Yeah.
say I did have post-holiday blues. I felt, actually, I wouldn't want being back in New York because it's brilliant out there.
Yeah.
But obviously, gradually you adapt to the reality of these two holidays having been and gone now.
Yeah.
But so there's a sense of that. But I thought actually, Holiday Blues is another good song title because it relates to music and it
It does.
relates
Yeah.
to
It does.
how you
Absolutely.
feel at the end of a holiday. So
Yeah.
I've got two good titles, and actually I was going to say to Phantom,
Yeah.
could she throw me a song title? Because
Oh
I like it
yeah.
when, I mean, I asked Medley that once, and
Yeah.
she came back and said, yeah, okay, can you write a song called Thank You? Well,
All
I
right.
started on it, and in fact, that's what happened. Except I used the Spanish version of the word "thank you," muchas gracias,
All
and in fact,
right.
I
That's
think
what
I
that's
named,
about.
yeah, I name
Muchas
checked you
gracias.
both in
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
think I name checked both of you, but I like it when I get a challenge of a title thrown at me, and so that will be a third song.
Yeah.
I'm also one of my old songs I like, which I don't think I didn't do it justice on its recording. Occasionally
No.
I don't often hear my old ones, but I listened to this one the other day because I was on this cruise ship and the song was Waves, which I did, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I always liked the tune of that. Um, but I
That
don't
was
think I
a
did it justice. So
that was an
I'm going to
album
re
title, wasn't it, Trevor?
it
Waves.
was what?
That was that was the title of the album, wasn't it? Waves.
I think it was,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
of course, that was the title track.
And
But
I
I
remember
liked the track.
one of the
Go on.
track there. One of the track there. Was it called Epitome?
Epitome.
Epitome. Yeah. Yeah. Is that
Yeah,
one of the tracks on
yeah,
it? I love that.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Epitome.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard that one occasionally, and I like Epitome.
Yeah. I love
That was
Epitome.
quite good.
Yeah.
But I liked Waves, and so I decided to re-record that.
Right.
One of the disappointing. I'm going off at a tangent here, but one of the annoying things is, I mean, I keep all my lyrics and arrangements, chords, and all that
Yeah.
in folders. Well, I lost a folder. This goes back probably 6 or 9 months.
Right.
So I mean, I've got, I think it's 97 songs now on Spotify, and that's without the 9 songs I wrote for the final encore. So I've got over the 100.
Yeah.
But I lost a folder. I can't find it. It'll
Oh
probably turn up
no.
one day, but with
Yeah.
about 25, 30 of my songs and all the chords, all the arrangements, which is not the end of the world because,
Right.
and Waves happens to be one of those I've lost. So
All
I'm going to
right.
have to rejig the lyrics and then rework out the chords and do a new arrangement, which is I want a new arrangement anyway. So
Right.
as I say, that's another one. And I
Yeah.
think it's not bad. I don't know whether you do it, but to revisit occasionally one or two of the old songs. I mean, I did that when I wrote the song for my sister. She died last year. Still my sister. I
Uh,
thought, yeah, I loved the tune. The first song I wrote for the final encore, which I sent you, was "Still My Baby,"
yeah.
meaning my little daughter.
Yeah.
And I liked that tune, so I thought, yeah, I'll do "Still My Sister."
Yeah.
For Sue, my sister, which I did, and I very much liked how that came out. So a bit like going back to Waves,
Right.
sometimes just going back to one of our old tunes, one of our old songs, is
Yeah.
quite good to do a revamp of it. So that's what I'll do there. But I
Yeah.
need Phantom's suggestion when she does come back
Yeah.
for a title of another song. So that will
Yeah.
be 4, and then I'll leave one in abeyance to get inspiration flooding at me, sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, because I think a lot of other artists they do it as well, don't they? They take a song of theirs, and they do a
Yeah,
remix, and and
a
yeah, so
rehash.
yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, that'd be good.
So I reckon I'll have those. Where are we now? It's coming up, well, 8th of May.
Yeah,
I'd like to think I'll have those done by late June, early July, which for me will be quite quick. But equally, it's not wrong, I don't think, to take 5 or 6 months.
no, it's not.
These things
It's not.
don't happen
No,
overnight,
no,
and
no, no.
I'd rather take time
Yeah,
rather than rush something out and not being as good as I want it to be, I suppose.
yeah, yeah. We're on about getting Deep Stuff Radio One Extra back on.
Oh,
Uh,
good,
yeah, yeah.
good.
So Deep Stuff Radio One is temporarily back on Twitter. Well, not temporarily,
Yeah,
but
I saw that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
permanently back
good.
on Twitter. Then he's tweeting from the company's official Twitter. So we're working on meddling, taking it back on, and then
All
putting
right. Okay.
Radio One Extra on the Deep Stuff one. And then there's another good news. We're getting it on Facebook as well. So same way on
Oh,
Twitter, it's
good.
gonna go on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're getting back on tuning. So yeah, we've been working on quite a lot. So there's been a lot of work going on.
Good.
Yeah, going on the ground where just working to get back into shape. Radio wise.
Yeah, I liked the way actually. I think it was Radio One Extra. You played the final encore songs, and that was good because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't often hear them, but I'm quite proud of those songs, and I still hope one day we get
absolutely, absolutely.
production of that.
Oh, we
That would
will,
be
we
good.
will, we will, Trevor, because I I'm very, very determined to do to get to where
Yeah,
want to be.
that's good.
And sometimes you might just need to take a little bit of a detour, but just staying
Yeah,
focused. I love staying focused on what I want to do because this is my baby, Deep Stuff Records, and just getting it to where it needs to be. But we'll get there eventually. I know,
I
I
think
know,
you've done great, if I may say.
I know. We'll get
I mean, I
there.
think it
We'll
was
get there eventually.
2014, wasn't it? You
Yeah,
started,
it was.
so
Yeah, yeah,
10
2014.
years is
Yeah.
brilliant, really.
Yeah, so the radio started in 2015. The company started in 2014. So we're not doing bad. We will
Pretty
get there.
good,
We'll get
pretty
there. We'll
good.
get there. Yeah, we'll get there because there's a lot of avenues that is opening up, Trevor,
Yeah,
promotion wise. So like what he's doing on Twitter, you could actually do it on what they call Apple TV app,
yeah,
and then a mobile app as well. So that would have push notifications, which would tell people, like for instance, when you release a new song, for instance, it'll push it to the listeners to say, Trevor Gear
yeah.
just released. So we're working on all that.
It's good.
Yeah, so we'll get there. I'm because everything's going online now. Anyway, everything's going digital. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're
I
working
mean,
on yeah. So working on an Alexa. It's called an Alexa
oh yeah,
skill. Yeah.
that's good. Yeah,
So where you can tell Alexa to then play Deep Stuff Radio. So we're working on all that. Yeah. It's a lot of work, but I'm confident we'll get there.
you'll get there. I mean,
Yeah.
probably a couple of years ago, I put two of my lyric videos on TikTok,
Yeah.
and I've never done anything since. But I thought the other day, why am I not using that? So I've now put another one up there. I put Annalise, which is a song about a young girl I used to know who committed suicide a few years ago now.
Yeah.
And within 24 hours, it had got 630, something like that, views. I
Plays.
mean, I don't know
Yeah,
whether that
views,
means
yeah.
people watch the
Yeah.
video all the way through, but it means they touched it. So I'm going to start putting on a lyric video probably once a week on there,
Yeah.
just again as a bit more publicity.
Yeah.
To YouTube, I mean, I'm on SoundCloud, obviously X, which is Twitter, Facebook, Deepstuff, and 2 or 3 other things. So yeah, and YouTube, of course.
Yeah.
So we've got to maximise what we do and
That's
exploit it all,
it.
haven't we?
Because at the end of the day, that's where everything's heading in the end.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
everything's heading anyway. It's like the online stores. No, not the online stores, but the high street stores. They were big back in the days, weren't they?
Yeah.
But then the online stores are gradually taking over, and they're having to shut down, aren't they? They're having to pack it in. So at the end of the day, that's where it's going. So the earlier we get into it, and secure our place,
That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah. So that's why we're investing on, all the different various avenues to get, into
Yeah. Yeah.
direction, yeah.
Well, you've
So,
got to do it nowadays, haven't you?
oh yeah,
Complete change of subject.
right,
All right, complete change of subject.
right,
Um, about a week ago, my boy Paul,
yeah,
he's always been a strong Crystal Palace fan, and I think beginning of this season, usually Sunday night, he's on a podcast. There's 4 of them,
all right,
about the game, about the previous day's game or whatever,
yeah,
and he's pretty good. I mean, he's like an encyclopedia knowledge-wise.
right,
And anyway, after his first 1 or 2, I watched 1 or 2 of them, and I said, "That's good, Paul." I said, "You come across really well," which he does. I mean, he's very
yeah,
natural, he's very confident and stuff. And he said, "Yeah," he said, "Dad, but I didn't know I sounded like that." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well," I said, "Have you never heard your voice before?" He said, "No, I haven't." He said, "I didn't realise." He said, and I said, "You don't like it?" He said, "Well, it's not what I expected."
yeah,
And it actually took me back because, okay, you and I, we record, so
yeah,
we hear our voices. And I remember even in my finance career over the years, I sometimes had to do a sort of a pretend or mock interview. So you had a couple of cameras in the corner of the room, and you had a difficult customer come in and you had to deal with it.
yeah,
And it's surprising how easily you forgot those cameras were there. But because afterwards you watch it back, and most people, including me, were a bit shocked about, for example, I remember I was shocked at the number of times I said between the
in between sentences.
I try not to say that even now, but I thought but the other thing I did, and I've noticed, I'm quite pleased that you're in the club as well on this today, I've noticed, because I was watching for it. I talked with my hands a lot, and you do that as well. But I thought, do I really do that in talking to people? Am I really? But I do. I talk very much. And so, I mean, when I'm on this podcast, I try and learn lessons. I try and sandwich my hands between my knees. There's nothing wrong with talking in your hands, but it's just something I did. And anyway, to come back to that, with Paul, he'd never heard himself. And I said, the point is, Paul, that is how you sound. I said, it doesn't sound, because unless we do that to our ears, if you do that, you can hear in your cupped hands what you sound like. But unless we do that, or if we haven't heard ourselves, we don't know, and it comes as a bit of a shock. And I think the same is true when we see ourselves on a podcast and so on. And it was one thing from last week, that because I watched the one, you do send them through now, don't you, on WhatsApp or on the Alien Spaceship?
Yeah.
And I watched that one, or some of it, and I actually found it quite hilarious at one point, because I seemed to have a cup with an everlasting drink. I kept picking up this wretched cup as if I'm in a world of my own, getting that people are looking at it. But I thought, and by the end of the podcast, I thought, well, how much drink was in that cup? Because every time I picked it up, it still seemed to have the same amount of drink, and it might appear to be a magic cup with an eternal drink inside. But I thought, no, I'm not gonna drink on the show anymore, because it doesn't look particularly professional. So it's little things like that we don't always notice. So I thought, I'm going to try and be a bit calmer and a bit less moving about, a bit less hand gestures, because maybe we don't see ourselves or hear ourselves as others do. We don't really.
Well,
it's all sorts of ways.
Yeah. Well, I think Trevor, I'm glad that you said all those things because you talking about it is making me laugh. And then I'm thinking, do you know what? We've got great content between us. If we can laugh, if we can watch ourselves back and then laugh at our own idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, well, you have to.
Then, people out there are definitely laughing with us as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all about, I don't think we should necessarily try and change everything we see. We're not sort of stone models just sitting there, but it's interesting to see our idiosyncrasies, our mannerisms, which we're not always conscious of, and but certainly my everlasting cup is one that really made me laugh, I must say.
I love it. I listen back to most of it anyway, because I edit it myself, because I want to see what needs to go in and what doesn't need to go in. So I personally do it myself. And sometimes I'm sat there and I'm listening to it and I get addicted to it myself. I get addicted to what we're saying. I'm listening to it and I'm going, man, what's he rambling on about?
But that's how I feel about myself much of the time. I tend to talk too much, but that's what it's about, isn't it?
That's what it's about, yeah. That's what
it's about.
This is what great content is about. I love it. I love everything that we do on the show. And the fact that we're not looking to copy anybody, out there trying to, we're just doing our own thing, we're just doing it the way that we do it, Granted, there will be people that would say, well, it's not my cup of tea. Well, we respect that.
Of course,
of course we respect that, Not everything. I mean, we don't watch everything on television and go, I want to watch that. No, of course you watch certain things on television, but it's still there regardless, It's there for people who want to see it, and they see it. And so
that little chap joined us, didn't he? Is it SC or SE on the Alien podcast WhatsApp? Is he the little chap? Did you remember him?
On the podcast.
Yeah, you put the Alien Spaceship. I forget what we call it, but it's a WhatsApp thing, isn't it?
Right.
A WhatsApp group.
The group.
And this little chap, I think a little chap has joined it, isn't he?
Is there a little chap there?
I thought you said, he said I'm here, and you said okay, but perhaps I've completely.
Oh no, it's Phantom.
Yeah, well, right, yeah. It's a fan, I suppose. That's what I mean. He's a little fan, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Right. I thought you meant like a little.
We've got one fan. Well, he was little, wasn't he? He's a little chap. I thought he was anyway.
All right.
Perhaps I've completely got that wrong, but I thought there was it a picture of him? I can't remember now, but anyway, afterwards I'll go and have another look, and I may have it completely wrong. I'll probably look at an entirely different group chat. We will see.
What's this show again?
Yeah, we'll mess it up between us, won't we? All right, well.
I'm thinking, hang on a minute, are we talking about the same show?
Yeah, well, there we are. Got it completely wrong, I expect.
I'm going to make you laugh, Trevor. Sometimes, we have this. Right, I don't know if you've ever been to a Nigerian pie, but if you've never been to a Nigerian pie, Trevor, I'm going to take you to a Nigerian pie.
Yeah, do.
And you're going to see what I'm talking about. So, right, let me give you a heads up. So you're a Nigerian pie, and there's always, we call them uncles. So there's always one person that's going to come to the party, and he has no clue what music he's playing. He just wants to dance. So
good for him.
So he gets on the dance floor all by himself, and it's just throwing himself around, throwing his hand, throwing his legs, just moving his head, and he's just having the best time of his life. And you're thinking, hang on a minute, what music is he dancing to? It don't matter what.
No sense.
Yeah.
No sense of rhythm.
You could be playing reggae, ABBA, country music. His dance step is the same. It's the same. and there's always one at a Nigerian party. There's always.
I shall look forward to seeing that sometime. But I tell you what, occasionally I've been to parties, sort of more family do's over the last few years, where, people do let their hair down, and with all the great songs, YMCA and all the usual ones. It is great to let go and dance like no one's watching, as they say. Just give it everything you got, sort of thing. And it's de-stressing, isn't it? It gets a lot of stuff out of your system. It's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
I love people like that at the party. I love it. I just go there for people like that. I just go there just to watch them dance, because it gives me so much joy to know that there's somebody out there that just wants to, regardless what you think or how you feel, he just wants to have a good time. There, his main purpose is to enjoy himself, and that's it. And he goes there and he makes sure he does that.
Good for him. Good for him. And it's worth a bottle of medicine, isn't it? Really, to express yourself in a way that you get it all out, and it's exercise as well, which is also good. So it's good. All good.
Love it,
all good.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Right. So on that note, bruv. So on that note, we'll bring the show to a close. We've missed Phantom today, aren't we? She sent a message earlier on to say that she had to be in court or something. Had to see one of the clients. So so hopefully we'll see her next week. But so you've been watching the Alien Spaceship with myself, Emmy Hikins. He calls me Cos, and
and me, that's Trevor Gear, and he calls me bro.
Join us again next time. Right, go on, say that, Trevor.
No, we'll be back next week, and hopefully to entertain you again.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we're looking forward.